In this video, we're going to talk about how to plan a program for residents. You may be asking yourself, what is programming? Programming is simply the act of creating an experience for residents. The UCSB RHA puts on lots of different programs for residents. While most of our largest programs are put on by the Programming Vice President, many of the specialty positions and representatives at large put on residential programs as well. Some of our biggest programs in the past include the RHA Halloween Festival, All Hall Ball, All Hall Brawl, and the All Hall Talent Show. These are all examples of what we call active programs, meaning there is a set time and place that they happen, and residents are actively participating. We also put on several passive programs, which often have a longer duration and multiple locations, allowing for more flexibility and passive participation. Some of the passive programs we've put on in the past include Safer Sex Peers, which is facilitated by the Health and Wellness Chairs. Through this passive program, we distribute free safe sex materials to the halls. Another passive program is the Period Pantry, which distributes tampons and pads free of cost to UCSB residents. Other passive programs might include a social media campaign, an online scavenger hunt, or DIY videos or informational videos that residents can follow and utilize on their own time. The sky is the limit. So, how do you actually plan a program? Well, there's a couple things to consider. Let's look at a programming model to get us started. First, consider the RHA mission statement. Our goal is to put the unity in community by representing UCSB residents and creating opportunities for them to be in community with one another. Second, consider what the needs of our community are. Resident needs could range from learning about campus resources like physical and mental health services and career services to learning about good study habits and managing personal finances. Third, think about what residents are interested in. What are their hobbies or ambitions, and what's currently trending among UCSB students? You might also want to consider what your interests are. What programs would you be excited about hosting for our on-campus community? What are you passionate about or interested in? Some topics you may want to consider in your programming include self-awareness, health and wellness, academic preparedness, responsible civic engagement, engaging with our community, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. You can remember this model by using the acronym SHARED. Once you've settled on an idea for your program, there are some key questions you'll want to consider during the planning phase. The first is who. Consider your target audience and their needs and interests. The next question is the what. What is the content of the program? You'll also want to think about when. When do you want to hold your program, and what does your planning timeline need to look like? Remember, it takes time to order and receive items, and it takes time to make space reservations and equipment reservations. Think about the where. Where will this program be taking place? Will it be online or over social media? Will it take place in the residence halls or outside on the lawn? Think about the why. In other words, what is the purpose of this program, and what are you hoping residents will get out of it? Finally, consider the how. How will you put on this program? Do you need to submit a funding request? Do you need to form a planning committee or consult with your advisor? Some additional questions you should ask yourself include, is this program inclusive? Is this program ADA accessible? Have I considered all dietary restrictions? There may be many more things to consider, but this is a good place to start. Let's look at an example and put all these pieces together. the EACC is putting on an Earth Day program where they'll be handing out free succulents and pizza. First, let's look at the who. This program is for all UCSB residents. Next, what? We'll have succulents, mason jars, and pizza, including gluten-free and vegan options. And finally, we'll have educational posters about Earth Day and climate change. When? The program will occur on Earth Day. We'll get to the programming timeline in just a bit. Where? This program will take place on the San Nick lawn. Why? The purpose of this program is to provide residents with information on how they can make a positive change on the planet and to give them something nice to brighten up their room. And finally, how? In our how, we'll outline the budget. $100 for succulents, $120 for pizza, and $50 for mason jars. Let's take a look at our programming timeline. 3 weeks ahead of the program, we'll want to make sure we reserve the San Nick lawn. We'll also want to reach out to the RHA advisor and see if they're free to purchase materials on their flex card. And we'll want to reach out to the equipment supervisor to reserve any tables and chairs we may need. 2 weeks ahead, we'll want to reach out to the media web coordinator for help designing flyers and DigiNos. You want to make sure to give the media web coordinator plenty of time to do this, or you'll have to design the flyers on your own. We'll also want to create our educational posters and reach out to the EACs to help staff the event. Finally, the week of, we'll really want to push advertisements through word of mouth, social media posts, DigiNos, physical flyers, and posters. You'll also want to organize any last-minute materials and make a plan for how you will transport materials to and from the program location. After the program, remember to submit any check request forms you may need for reimbursements. If you're able to, it's always great to follow up with the people who showed up to your program. Finally, it's important to take some time to reflect on how it went. What went well? And what could have gone better? And what might you do differently next time? Remember, programming is a skill that takes time to build. Sometimes things may not go 100% to plan, and that's absolutely okay. With each program you plan, you'll get better and better at putting the unity in community, and you have your advisors and peers to support you. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to your RHA advisor.